Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Such a great place to go. Jeremy and the gang make you feel like you're family there from the first time you walk in and every time after. So go on down to Joe's, meet some new friends, hang out with some old ones, but make sure you go. Remember, I goes to Joe's and so should you. As Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Today is an exciting day on Smoked Meat. I have a young man named Alessandro Folchitto. He is a stuntman, he is an actor, he is up and coming, has a lot of great things in the works. We're going to talk about those. Such a wonderful guy, had a great time with him. So we're going to get this beast kicked on off here on Smoked Meat. So how's it going today, Alessandro?
I'm good. I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Man, it's a beautiful day here, and I'm ready for this interview. I think we're gonna have a good time today. You're right around the corner from me here in Atlanta.
Yes, right now I'm in Peachtree City, and yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
my kids are actually up there right now grocery shopping.
oh, well,
So,
that's great.
so yeah, yeah. So I know you have been doing stunts and technical consulting and stuff on a lot of different movies. Uh,
Yes, yeah, I
yeah, I
did
mean,
start in 2000. So my experience, my history in the movie business started in 2011, and it started actually working in as a special effect technician for a guy named Bobby Vasquez. At that time, he was the president of Local 479 here in Atlanta.
mm-hmm,
And why I started to work for him? Because I was in Afghanistan, I was in the special forces, and the guy, thanks to my mom's connection, that my mom was here in the States running our family restaurant in Peachtree City, our Italian family restaurant in Peachtree City. My mom met Bobby, and of course, Bobby was an ex American Green Beret.
mm-hmm.
So, mom is mom. Mom started to speak with this guy and says, "Oh, my son is in Afghanistan. He's in the special forces. You were deployed everywhere." So, blah blah blah. Short story. Bobby emailed me, and I still remember when I received this email in Afghanistan about the opportunity to start to work in a special effect business in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then my answer was, Bobby, I mean, I would love to. I really don't know anything about movies and special effects. I know I can just blow things up. That's the only thing I can do. And now, they'll remind me the special effects. And he said, that's fine, don't worry. So I came here and I started to work for him for a year and a half. And great experience. We did 2 or 3 TV series and a movie. We did Coma, we did Hannah Nicole's Meat Life, Drop the Diva, and I think another one. And the guy, unfortunately, Bobby passed. Bobby passed for a heart attack. 2 months before my mom passed. So that time for me was one of the biggest struggle times in my life because I faced myself coming in the States, leaving a wonderful career to be captain in Italian Special Forces, and find myself here in Atlanta, Georgia, with no connection, with very few experience on set. Because I mean, 3 TV series, a movie on set is pretty much you're very, very, very green.
Yeah, yeah.
And with no knowledge of how to be even in a set. I never was in a set for one day. So that time for me was hard. It was hard for almost a year. A year and a half was very hard, and I'm trying to invent myself as soon as possible. And I just saw my credit card bill going on the roof. Till one day that Bill Marinella cast me for a role on The Haves Haves Nots.
Mm-hmm.
As an Italian guy, Bill Marinella came. I met this guy and then cast me for a small role, and I went for this day on set and be in front of the camera. And I said, to Tyler Perry, I had no idea what Tyler Perry was.
Yeah.
So Tyler Perry looked at me and said, "You do okay so today?" And I said, "Yeah, man, absolutely, I'm fine." And everybody watched me like I spoke with God. I didn't know Tyler Perry. It was the first day on set. No idea.
Yeah.
And then he told me it was Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was very great to me. And I went home and said, I think I can do that. I can work in front of the camera. I need to reinvent myself. So I applied for an audition for the movie Insurgent. It was 300 people and a bunch of stunt performers, a bunch of extras for military part. And I remember this audition I was holding in a parking lot, very sunny. And there was a Navy SEALs, a retired Navy SEALs, Duffy Gaver, that was running this audition. And he asked a simple question, how you guys can clean a room with a rifle. And nobody was almost kind of skeptical. And I raised my hand right away. I said, I can do that. And I grabbed my rifle. I did 5 steps. And this guy told me, what's your background? And I explained, Special Forces. And then I was keep going. Where? In Italy. Which unit? And I said, hold on for a second. Which unit? I told my unit, the 9th Regiment, called Moschino. And the guy out of the blue says, do you know Marco? And Marco, don't say the last name, is still on service. Marco is a good friend of mine. And I say, yeah, no, I know him. So he left. He actually went and called Marco to check if I was real. He came back and short story, me and Marco and him, we trained together with the Israel Special Forces in Israel years ago. So Duffy came to me and says, Alex, follow me. Duffy brought me in front of the director, the stunt coordinators, and says, well, guys, as you know, I'm going to leave the set in a week because I need to go train Brad Pitt, because he's still a personal trainer for Brad Pitt. And says to the director, Alessandro is going to be in charge of the movie when I leave him.
Oh, man. No pressure.
Exactly. And that blew my mind off. I said, okay. And I remember, I said, can you do it? Absolutely, I can do it. I mean, I was running a boot camp for real people for forever. So I can do that. I had no idea about the movie business, but I can invent myself. I remember leaving the room and went by myself to the toilet, find a small toilet. I went to the toilet and closed the door and started screaming like an idiot. You can imagine me, a 6'4" guy on a freaking toilet and screaming like, oh my God. So something like that. And then I opened the door, went outside, I said, okay, I'm ready. And then I did the entire military part and coordination part for Insurgent first and back to back on a Legion. And a Legion, I really actually changed some part of the script to make it more realistic and more attached to the real life. And that was a big change for me, because it's not that you just work into movies. I worked for 9 months straight, and I work, and every time on set, every actor, every stunt performers, stunt coordinators, extra, they was supposed to work on the movie has to come through me to be trained and to be vouched how you need to handle guns, weapons on the movie. So in a year and a half, basically everybody knew me very fast.
Very
so
cool.
That was my beginning, yes. And then, of course, at that point, I worked my way through as a tactical coordinator and opened a company that now is in charge of almost every movie and TV series that's here in Atlanta for the military part. And I applied for being an actor, and of course my Italian accent and my 6'4" guy size and bold always help me if I need to play a bad guy,
Mhm.
and that's how he basically started.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. A lot of people don't see the different technical coordinators on movies, but that is one of the most important parts because I've got some SWAT background, as a medic, and it drives me insane to be watching something and watching people clear a room and they miss 90% of what they should be checking, and they'll just walk
Yeah, I
in and say
know.
clear. Like, no, it don't work that way. Stop.
I know. I know. I know.
Oh, that drives me insane. I love it when I see things that are real. Like things as small as just trigger discipline. When I
Yeah.
see somebody roll into a room with their finger in the hook, I'm like, really? No.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but now director, it just recently, director and producer are understanding the audience now are very picky, and not just for the military part. Of course, every action movie, the majority on an action movie, you're still gonna have people with guns or rifle. So, of course, the military part, the police advising that anything is related with gun is always going to be the majority. But now, producer and director really understand that every time you have some sort of specialty, I don't know, windsurfing, kayaking, parachuting, whatever, they need to go and find a good advisor to please the audience, because the audience are very picky. So I
Yeah.
always suggest the people that want to break in the movie business, if you have a capability, use that. Use it. Of course, you can't have only just one, because then you're gonna wait for that spot.
Yeah.
But if people understand that on their subject, there can be anything. So you are the one to go, and of course you're gonna find work. You need to be a well-around stunt performers or actor or 360.
Mhm.
But if you can excel on something, you should focus on excel on something and train hard to be a all-around 360 performer. But they can change. They can open the door for you.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like I'm a 30-year paramedic, and it drives me insane. Like I say, I'm picky. I watch medical shows, and when they, I saw a thing where they were putting a chest tube in somebody in an OR, and they were using a tube that goes down your throat and into a tracheal tube. I'm just cringing. Like, really? Or I pick up on those things, and it just drives me insane because I know how it's done. And
Yeah. And of course, there's another things. There's another things I want to, because I mean, in this podcast, what I want to do, I want to even help people to work in a movie business.
mm,
So there is some things that are more common, and I give you an idea. For example, it's gonna more common in a movie to have somebody with a rifle that than to have somebody make some surgery or some medical stuff or one person, right?
mhm.
And then it's going to be even less common to have somebody, for example, using the software and really see how you can hack something. So
Yeah,
there is some capability that if you have are common, and people are going to ask, there are more spots available. There are some specialties that you need, they're less common. So there are less doctors in the world. There are less paramedic in the world than are many soldiers. So it's more likely that you're going to find a soldier that says, "Oh, that's wrong," than a paramedic. They know that if you need to insert a J tube on the neck, so on the throat of somebody, or do some sort of procedures, they're going to understand. Oh no, that's wrong.
yeah,
So because take more skills to be a paramedic than just have a weapon in your hand that's running in the field.
hmm yeah, yeah. And I tell you, man, I've looked over the resume on some of the stuff that you've done, and man, you have just, I'm amazed. you've done a lot of the Marvel stuff, and the Infinity War. My daughter
Yes.
drove me nuts until that came out, and she got to see an Endgame. Oh, she drove me up the wall over those two movies.
Yes, that was a great experience. And then working for Marvel, I think it's everybody's dream as a performer. So no matter what you do, even if you're an actor, a stunt, an extra, it's I guess even production wise, it's almost a dream because it's Marvel. They do superhero. I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't want to work in a superhero stuff, right?
yeah,
And I always say to the people, yesterday I have another interview that they ask me what you think. Well, I give you an example of what I'm thinking. Um, when I was 4 years old, so a long time ago, I was in Italy and I was going to have a procedures in my throat to remove something on my throat.
mhm,
And my mom gave to me, I mean, think about hospital in Italy 40 years ago. And I
mhm.
was 4. So it wasn't like at the Hilton or Sheraton Hotel.
Yeah,
So my mom gave it to me to be brave, a little Spider-Man figures to hold in my hand, to be brave and challenge these procedures.
mhm,
So 36 years later, 36 years later, first times on set for Spider-Man, I was close to the actor and close to the stand-up. They both know, wonderful people. But it wasn't them as an actor, it wasn't them as a stand-up, but it was the action figure. And I watched myself, and I watched Spider-Man. I said, "That's freaky Spider-Man."
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's the action figure that was holding my hand 35 years ago, and I'm standing beside Spider-Man, and I actually on the scene try to arrest him.
oh man,
Yeah, so that's Marvel. It's a dream maker's machine that I love them, man. I love
yeah,
that. It's not easy to work with them. They're high professional. They're very skilled. And they actually, I think, some of what Marvel is doing, why they're so strict, because they know exactly. They know they actually are handling people hope, people youthness, people past, people desires. So when you watch Superman, not Marvel, but when you watch the superhero things,
mhm,
you know that you will grow up with the things. So we know, for example, on the Marvel things, if you see Iron Man is freaking Iron Man. I know
yeah,
it's a comic, but Iron Man, it's a guy that you were watching the comics, read the comics because the guy is saving the world. So in Marvel, I know it's entertainment, but Marvel they have a lot of responsibility to deliver the reality and please all the fans of this huge universe they created.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, one thing I love all the Marvel and the DC movies, but like I say, it's a huge responsibility because the
Yeah.
hardcore people, man, you, they think I'm bad on
Oh yeah.
medical and all that. No,
Yeah.
they nitpick big.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I think it's neat. I know they filmed a lot of the Marvel stuff over here at Pinewood, and I took my kids over to the little Hanna Brothers studio, the
Yeah.
cafe, and when we drove up to it, they had a big mural on the side of one of the studio buildings of the Marvel characters, and my youngest daughter just had a fit over that because she didn't realize they filmed there.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love that cafe. That is the best breakfast in the world there.
Yeah. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen where you've done some on The Walking Dead. Um, that's a huge franchise here. When I first moved to Fayetteville, I actually cooked over there at Nick and Norman's.
Oh yeah, Nick and Norman. I know
Yeah,
them. Both I know Nick. Greg Nicotero and Norma Reedus. I personally know them. They're
yeah,
nice people.
yeah. And they never came in while I was working. But it drove me crazy because everybody said, "Get me an autograph," and I'm like, "No,
No, yeah, yeah,
it's
I
not
know.
that relationship. I work for them. They're not going to
Yeah,
come in and want their cook to ask for an autograph. That's not going to fly." And
and it says these guys are all under pressure. I mean, they're nice guys, and they will. I mean, if they have time, they're gonna do whatever you want, sign everything you want. But they even then they have a lot of pressure, man. It's people watching the show Walking Dead. They like it, they don't like it. It doesn't matter. But these guys, from producer, director, and actors, they know they have a responsibility for the fan and responsibility for the studios. I mean, that's you see, movie business, if people don't realize how much money they're involved with, and they're not just making $1 billion, the big people, but how many money they're involved with and how many people work in a movie. If you work in a pilot or a TV series, that you can be the actor or the last person on the crew, the one who just, I don't know, clean the restrooms.
hmm
If people don't do a great job, and the pilot or the season get canceled, these people don't work.
yeah,
So it's really, it just go behind how much money a big producer can make. It's how many people are employed in the movie business or the video games. People sometimes skip the credit and they don't see that in a movie like, I don't know, a Marvel movie, there thousands of people work and means that thousands of people pay their mortgage, their bills, their utilities with the work. That's why I'm very against people that are trying to download or to pirate stuff with movie and songs. Because that's a lot of work behind making a song, so making a video,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's all the people that actually sort of live for that.
yeah. And like I say, nowadays a lot of stuff's not filming right now because of the COVID thing, and
Yeah,
it's it's serious. And like I say, this is how people pay their bills. And it's not just
yeah,
the actors and the people we see. It's everybody
yeah,
from producer, director down to the grips, and everybody.
yeah. And then, my friend, big actors, big producer, they don't have to work. They
Mm,
can wait another 4 years before do another movie.
yeah,
The problem is the normal people. The normal people means 90% of the actors and 100% of the stunt people and 100% of the crew. They need to go to work because yeah, if you work enough, you have said maybe 3 4 months that you whatever. But then now, guys, we need to go back to work because that's I know for a fact hundreds of people they are running out of money to pay the mortgage, to pay car payment, to pay bills. So we need to go back to work, man.
yeah, yeah. I know. This time last year, everywhere I looked around here, within 50 miles, you would see the little yellow and black signs with the arrows
Yeah,
and the initials. Now, nothing.
no.
And
Well, things are starting up. I don't know. I'm not. I mean, there are 3 movies right now prepping in Pinewood.
mhm,
There are another TV series. Tyler Perry is working on now. So there are things coming up. Now, how slow, how long it's gonna take for this production to hire more people and not just the core? I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. That's I don't know.
yeah. 'Cause, I remember when Falcon and Winter Soldier was filming over there in Griffin.
Oh yeah, work
You
for
know,
that.
yeah. I know it. I was strolling through here and saw that. I'm like, okay, I was probably 100 feet from this cat. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like I say, I'm a paramedic, and we would go by there constantly when it was filming. We didn't go in and watch anything because that's like I say, we know that's a business. They don't need our distraction.
yeah, you're right.
But yeah, man, I'm just happy that you do what you do because it helps make a better quality product. It helps it brings smiles to people's faces to know that things are being done right, and and that you're getting things done safe because just because it may be a prop gun or shooting blanks, John Eric
Yeah,
Hexum and Brandon Lee, both
Yeah.
of them blank guns, and you're
Yeah.
teaching people to do things the right way. And
Yeah, I mean, a movie business is supposed to be entertainment. It's not supposed to be anybody's supposed to die,
yeah,
or have a bad injury. Now, I mean, stunt performers are professional athletes,
yeah,
so it can happen that you broke an ankle. So I mean, of course, like football players, it can happen. You can broken ankles, broken arms. So that's part of the all the deal. But nobody's supposed to die, man.
yeah,
There is not movie. There is nothing that's worth in somebody's life.
yeah. Exactly. It's funny. Some people will say, "Well, they knew what they were getting into and they signed up for this." I've been a firefighter forever. I've been a paramedic forever, and people say, "Well, you're paid to risk your life." Now, I'm paid
Yeah.
to risk my
Okay.
life to a certain point. There's a time when this ain't safe, and I'm not dying for this.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Because then you are. I mean, it takes years to replace a person.
yeah,
Even if you just speak on take them out all the human side, but if you speak on the practically side, I mean, you can risk somebody's life because it's not easy to replace anybody, a firefighter or a soldier. It's not easy to replace anybody. So even just that, people need to think. Well, hold for a second. If you put the human side on that, no life is worth risking.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But man, I tell you, I'm glad that you came on here today, and I'm happy to know that y'all are this close by. You when we're able to, I'd like to sit down and do one of these face to face. Man, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hopefully very soon.
Yeah,
Hopefully very soon.
yeah, definitely. And like I say, man, I appreciate you coming on here today, and you're welcome on here anytime.
Okay.
And
Okay, sure.
thank you so much for what you do, because you make a difference. You make what we see better, and you make us enjoy it, and we're able to forget what's going on right now. So thank you
I
so
know.
much.
I know. Yeah. No, thank you guys. And everybody's trying to do something. Everybody's trying to do a little things. And I think everybody here has a responsibility to make the world a little bit better every day. Sometimes it takes a lot of effort. Sometimes it takes just smile to somebody that you see they have done okay. Sometimes it takes, and then people say, "How are you? I'm good. Are you sure you're good?" I mean, sometimes it just take time to listen. Just take time to care, to change a day for somebody. So
Yeah,
thank you for having me, my friend. I can't wait to see you face to face. And
definitely.
I don't know.